The rain pounded against the window like a furious heartbeat, and I slammed the hotel door behind me, drenched and defeated after a 12-hour flight from Seattle. "This can't be happening," I muttered, staring at the single king-sized bed in the middle of the room, where a stranger, a woman with striking green eyes and a backpack slung over her shoulder, turned to face me with a mix of surprise and amusement. In that instant, as our gazes locked amid the chaos of my ruined plans, I felt the ground shift beneath me, unaware that this booking mistake was about to unravel my carefully guarded life. I dropped my suitcase with a thud that echoed through the small upscale room at the heart of Manhattan's bustling Midtown. The Empire State Building loomed outside the floor-to-ceiling windows, its spire piercing the stormy sky like a defiant needle. I'd booked this place months ago for what was supposed to be a solo retreat, a chance to escape the suffocating routine of my corporate job in tech, where I spent days coding algorithms that predicted consumer behavior, but couldn't forecast my own emotional drought. Her name was Riley. She introduced herself with a casual wave, her voice carrying a faint southern drawl that softened the edges of her words. "Looks like the hotel double-booked us. I'm Riley Hayes from Atlanta. You must be the other unlucky soul." She was in her late 20s like me, with freckles dusting her nose and a tattoo of a compass peeking from under her sleeve. I nodded, trying to play it cool, but inside panic bubbled. Sharing a room with a stranger? In New York? This wasn't the anonymous adventure I'd signed up for. "I'm Jordan Ellis," I said, forcing a smile as I peeled off my wet jacket. "From Seattle." I called the front desk. They said it's a glitch in their system, and with the conference in town, everything's full. They offered a refund, but I trailed off, gesturing helplessly at the bed. Riley chuckled, a warm, genuine sound that cut through the tension. "Well, Jordan from Seattle, I promise I'm not a serial killer. We can make this work for a night or two until they sort it out." We divided the space like tentative roommates. I took the left side of the bed, she the right, with pillows as a makeshift barrier. As the evening wore on, conversation flowed easier than I'd expected. Over room service pizza, extra cheese, no olives, we shared stories. I talked about my life in the Pacific Northwest, the endless rain that mirrored my internal fog since my last breakup 2 years ago. She left me for someone more stable, I confessed, surprised at my own openness. "I've been focusing on work ever since. This trip was my reset button." Riley listened intently, her eyes reflecting the city lights. She was a freelance photographer, chasing gigs across the country. "Atlanta's home base, but I'm always on the move, capturing moments that people overlook, the raw, unfiltered ones." She showed me her portfolio on her phone. Black and white shots of street performers in New Orleans, sunsets over the Grand Canyon, a couple embracing in Central Park. There was a poetry to her work, a way she framed vulnerability that made my heart ache a little. By midnight, the storm had eased, and we lay on our respective sides, the pillow wall feeling more like a suggestion than a boundary. "You know," Riley whispered in the dark, "sometimes mistakes lead to the best stories." I didn't respond, but her words lingered, stirring something dormant in me. The next morning, sunlight streamed in, and we ventured out together. New York pulsed with energy. Times Square's neon chaos, the aroma of street vendors selling hot dogs and pretzels. Riley insisted on showing me her favorite spots, like the High Line, where elevated gardens offered a respite from the concrete jungle. As we walked, our hands brushed accidentally, sending a spark up my arm. I pulled away, chalking it up to the city's electric vibe. But Riley's laughter was infectious, her stories pulling me in. She spoke of her own heartbreaks, a college sweetheart who couldn't handle her nomadic life, leaving her to question if stability was a myth. "I've learned to embrace the unknown," she said, her gaze meeting mine with an intensity that made my pulse quicken. Back at the hotel that evening, the front desk called. "No rooms available for another day." We shrugged it off, ordering Chinese takeout and watching old rom-coms on the TV. Midway through, when Harry met Sally, Riley turned to me. "Do you believe in fate, Jordan?" Her question hung in the air, heavy with implication. I hesitated, my walls cracking. "I used to. Now, I'm not sure." She smiled softly. "Maybe this is it, fate and a booking error." Over the next few days, our shared space became a cocoon. We explored the city, Coffee in Greenwich Village where artists and dreamers congregated. A ferry ride to Staten Island, wind whipping our hair as we leaned against the rail. Riley captured it all with her camera, including candid shots of me, laughing at a street mime, gazing at the Brooklyn Bridge. "You have this quiet strength," she told me one night, scrolling through the photos. "It's beautiful." I felt seen in a way I hadn't in years. My ex Sarah had always pushed me to be more outgoing, more fun. But Riley appreciated my introspection, my love for quiet moments amid the noise. One evening, as we sat on the hotel balcony overlooking the Hudson, she leaned in closer. "Jordan, I didn't expect this, you." Her hand found mine, and for the first time I didn't pull away. The kiss was tentative, soft, like the first raindrop of a summer storm. It tasted of possibility, of letting go. But as our connection deepened, doubts crept in. Riley's phone buzzed constantly. Text from someone named Hadley, which she dismissed as work. I ignored the nagging voice in my head, lost in the romance of it all. We danced in a jazz club in Harlem, her body moving against mine in rhythm that felt predestined. "This feels right," she murmured against my ear. And for a moment it did. Yet, New York has a way of revealing truths. On our fourth night, as I reached for her phone to check the time, a message popped up. "Miss you, babe. When are you coming home?" From Hadley. My stomach dropped. Riley walked in from the bathroom, her face paling as she saw the screen. "Jordan, it's not what you think." The confrontation was raw, tears streaming down both our faces. Hadley was her ex, she explained. An on-again, off-again relationship she'd been trying to end. "I came to New York to clear my head, to figure things out. Then I met you. But the betrayal stung. You should have told me," I whispered, packing my things. The pillow wall was back, taller than ever. The next morning, the hotel finally offered me a separate room on a lower floor. I took it without hesitation, the silence between Riley and me deafening as I gathered my belongings. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice breaking. "I never meant to hurt you." I nodded, but words failed me. As the door clicked shut behind me, the weight of the past few days crashed down. What had started as a simple mix-up felt like a cruel joke from the universe. Alone in my new room, overlooking a less glamorous alley, I replayed every moment. The laughter, the touches, the confessions, they all felt tainted now. I threw myself into work, attending the tech conference I'd come for, networking with forced enthusiasm. But Riley's face haunted me. Those green eyes full of regret. In the evenings I'd wander the streets, from the vibrant chaos of Chelsea Market to the serene paths of Central Park, trying to outpace my thoughts. On the third day post-separation, I spotted her in the park. She was photographing a group of kids playing frisbee, her camera clicking away. Our eyes met across the green expanse, and she approached hesitantly. "Jordan, can we talk?" We sat on a bench, the autumn leaves crunching underfoot. She poured out her story. Hadley had been her anchor during tough times, her parents' divorce, her struggle to make it as an artist. "But it's toxic. I've known it for months. Meeting you, it gave me the courage to end it for good." I wanted to believe her, but trust was fractured. "Why didn't you say something sooner?" She sighed. "Fear. Of losing this, of us." We talked for hours, the sun dipping low, casting long shadows. Riley showed me texts she'd sent to Hadley that morning. "It's over. For real this time." Part of me softened, but the drama of it all exhausted me. "I need time," I said, standing to leave. Back in Seattle mode, I focused on my routine, but New York had changed me. Emails from work felt mundane. The rain back home seemed heavier. Riley texted sporadically, apologies, photos of the city she'd taken thinking of me. One night, she sent a picture of the High Line at sunset. "Wish you were here." I didn't respond, but I saved it. The conference ended, and my flight home loomed. On my last night, a knock at the door startled me. Riley stood there, rain-soaked like I had been on day one, holding a small envelope. "I couldn't let you leave without this." Inside were prints of her photos, of us. One captured me laughing, eyes alight. Another, our hands intertwined on the ferry. "These are the real moments," she said. "Not the mistakes." We talked again, this time in my room. She admitted her flaws, the fear of commitment, the pattern of holding on to the past. But you make me want to be better. Tears welled as I confessed my own fears. The walls I'd built after Sarah. The reluctance to risk heartbreak again. In that vulnerability something shifted. We didn't kiss, instead we held each other. The city humming below like a lullaby. The next morning I extended my stay. We explored more Brooklyn street art. A Broadway show where the story of star-crossed lovers mirrored our own. Riley officially cut ties with Hadley, blocking her number in front of me. Trust began to rebuild brick by brick. This is new for me, she admitted over coffee in a cozy diner. But it's worth it. As days turned to a week, our bond deepened. We shared dreams. Me starting my own app to connect artists like her with opportunities. She settling in one place long enough to build a gallery. New York became our backdrop. A city of reinvention, where strangers become soulmates. One evening in a quiet bookstore in the village, Riley turned to me. Jordan, I think I'm falling for you. My heart soared. Me too. But drama wasn't done with us. A call from home. My sister in Seattle had a health scare. A minor surgery, but it pulled me back to reality. I have to go, I told Riley, panic rising. She nodded, understanding. Let me come with you. If you'll have me. The offer stunned me. Was this real? Or another impulse? At the airport, doubts resurfaced. What if this was just a vacation fling? Riley sensed it. I'm not Hadley. I'm here because I choose you. Her words grounded me. We boarded the plane together, hands clasped. Seattle welcomed us with its familiar drizzle, my apartment feeling smaller but warmer with her in it. Introducing Riley to my world was surreal. My friends adored her southern charm. My sister, recovering, teased us mercilessly. You went to New York for a reset and came back with a girlfriend? But beneath the joy, tension brewed. Riley's freelance life clashed with my structured one. She missed the road, the spontaneity. Arguments flared. I feel trapped here, she'd say. And I feel like you're 1 foot out the door, I'd retort. The climax hit during a stormy night. Much like our first. Riley's phone rang. Hadley, somehow unblocked, pleading for reconciliation. I didn't answer, Riley insisted, but the seed of doubt replanted itself. How can I trust you won't run back? I yelled, tears streaming. She grabbed her backpack. Maybe I should leave. The door slammed, echoing my heartbreak. Alone I crumbled. Had I pushed her away? Hours later, a knock. Riley drenched again. I went for a walk. I can't leave you, Jordan. You're my home now. We talked through the night, unpacking fears, promising honesty. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. In the weeks that followed, Seattle became our testing ground. Riley adapted, finding local gigs, photographing weddings in the Puget Sound, capturing the misty forests of the Olympics. I supported her, attending shoots, even posing for experimental portraits. You inspire me, she'd say, her camera clicking. Our love grew quieter, more profound, away from New York's glamour. But old wounds lingered. My ex Sarah reappeared via email. Heard you're back with someone new. Happy for you. It stirred jealousy in Riley. Do you still think about her? She'd ask. I'd reassure her, but the drama simmered. One evening at a gallery opening for Riley's work, Sarah showed up uninvited. Just wanted to see the exhibit, she claimed, but her eyes lingered on me. The confrontation was tense. Riley pulled me aside. Is this what you want? Stability with her. Hurt flashed in her eyes. No, I said firmly. I want you, the mess, the magic, all of it. Sarah left, and we danced under string lights, reaffirming our commitment. No more ghosts, Riley whispered. Life settled into a rhythm. We road tripped to Portland, where craft breweries and bookstores fueled late-night talks. Riley opened up about her family, conservative roots in Georgia, where coming out had been a battle. They don't understand, but you do. I shared my own story. A supportive but distant family, the pressure to succeed masking my loneliness. Highs came with lows. Riley's wanderlust flared during a slow work period. I missed the open road, she confessed. I feared losing her. Then let's go together, I suggested. We planned a cross-country drive, Seattle to Atlanta, stopping at national parks, diners, iconic landmarks. It was our way of blending worlds. The trip was transformative. In Yellowstone under starlit skies we camped, sharing stories by the fire. This is freedom, Riley said, her head on my shoulder. In the Midwest we visited small towns, her camera documenting forgotten Americana. Challenges arose. A flat tire in Nebraska led to heated arguments, but we fixed it together, laughing afterward. Arriving in Atlanta was pivotal. Riley's family home loomed, a Southern Gothic mansion with wraparound porches. Her parents greeted us warily. "This is Jordan," she introduced, hand in mine. Dinner was awkward, polite questions masking discomfort. Later, her mom pulled her aside. "Is this serious?" Riley stood firm. "Yes, Mom. She's it for me." The visit humanized Riley's past. I saw the girl who'd fled conformity, chasing dreams. "Thank you for coming," she said as we left. "It means everything." Back on the road, heading north, our bond solidified. In Chicago, over deep dish pizza, we discussed the future. What if we moved to New York? I proposed. Your photography, my tech skills, we could thrive. Excitement built, but betrayal struck again. In a motel in Ohio, I found an email on Riley's laptop from Hadley. "I still love you. Come back." Riley swore she hadn't responded, that it was spam. But doubt poisoned me. "How many times?" I demanded. She broke down. "I blocked her everywhere, but she finds ways. I don't want her, I want us." The fight escalated. Me accusing her of indecision, her of paranoia. I stormed out, driving alone for hours. In a roadside diner, sipping coffee, clarity hit. Love wasn't flawless. It was choosing each other despite flaws. I returned to find Riley waiting. "I'm sorry," we said in unison. We forgave, vowing better communication. The drive home cemented our resilience. In the Rockies we hiked, sharing silences as profound as words. "You've changed me," I told her at a viewpoint. "For the better." She smiled. Ditto. Back in Seattle we applied for jobs in New York. Riley got a gallery spot. I landed a remote position. Packing up, excitement mingled with nerves. "Ready for Act 2? She asked. "With you?" "Always." Our new life in Brooklyn was vibrant. Loft apartment, weekend markets, friends from both worlds. But drama tested us once more. Riley's big exhibit opened, featuring our story through photos. Hadley appeared uninvited. "I just want closure," she pleaded. Riley confronted her. "It's over. Move on." I stood by, proud. The night ended triumphantly, sales pouring in. In our apartment we toasted. "To us," Riley said. "To overcoming." As months passed, our love matured. We volunteered at LGBT centers, helping youth navigate identities, giving back the support we'd craved. Riley's family softened, sending care packages. Mine visited, embracing her. One crisp autumn day in Central Park, where it all indirectly began, we sat on our old bench. Riley pulled out a ring, simple and elegant. "Jordan Ellis, will you marry me?" Tears flowed. "Yes," I whispered. The proposal was intimate, no grand gestures, just us in a city of millions. Planning the wedding was a whirlwind of joy and chaos. We chose a small venue in the Hudson Valley, surrounded by rolling hills and apple orchards. A nod to our road trip adventures. Friends and family converged. My Seattle crew, Riley's Atlanta kin, even some New York artists. Tensions arose, her parents' traditional views clashed with our modern ceremony, but compromises bridged gaps. "Love wins," Riley's mom conceded, helping with flowers. The day arrived, crisp and sunny. I walked down the aisle in a tailored suit, Riley in a flowing dress that caught the light. Vows were heartfelt. "You turned a mistake into destiny," I said. "You taught me home as a person," she replied. Rings exchanged, we kissed amid cheers, the world feeling right. Honeymoon in Hawaii. Beaches, hikes, lazy mornings. "This is our story," Riley murmured, watching waves. Back home life hummed. I launched my app, connecting creators. Riley's photography flourished, exhibitions nationwide. But life isn't fairy tales. A year in, Riley faced a health scare. A lump, benign after tests, but it shook us. "I can't lose you," I cried in the hospital. She held me. "You won't. We're fighters." It deepened our appreciation, prompting wellness routines, more adventures. Career highs brought lows. My app boomed, demanding travel. Riley supported, but loneliness crept. I miss you, she'd text from shoots. We balanced with date nights. Picnics in Prospect Park, jazz in Harlem. Communication became our anchor. Another betrayal tested us. A colleague flirted aggressively during my conference trip. I shut it down, but rumors reached Riley via social media. Is there someone else? She asked, voice trembling. I showed messages proving fidelity. Only you, I assured. Trust rebuilt stronger. We adopted a rescue dog, Max, whose antics filled our home with laughter. Walks in the park became rituals, discussing dreams. Kids someday, perhaps adoption. A family of our own, Riley mused. Years blurred. Anniversaries marked growth. 5 years, a vow renewal in Seattle. 10, a European trip. Riley's book of photos, Strangers to Soulmates, became a bestseller, inspiring LGBT youth. We mentored, sharing our journey. The booking error, dramas, redemptions. Challenges persisted. Riley's parents passed, leaving emotional voids. We grieved together, her leaning on me. My career pivot to consulting allowed more time home. Balance achieved. In quieter moments, we'd reflect. That hotel mix-up, I'd say. Best mistake ever. Riley'd smile. It wasn't a mistake, it was fate. Our love, once turbulent, settled into enduring warmth. Not without waves, but navigable. We aged gracefully, gray hairs and laugh lines mapping our story. One evening on our Brooklyn balcony, city lights twinkling, Riley turned. You've given me everything. I kissed her. And you've given me life. As our 15th anniversary approached, we planned a return to the hotel where it began. The same Midtown spot, now renovated but the view unchanged. Full circle, Riley said, packing. Arriving, we requested the original room. Double booked again? The clerk joked. We laughed. Walking in, memories flooded. The rain, the awkward introductions. Look how far we've come, I whispered. We dined at our old spots, revisited the High Line. Thank you for choosing me, Riley said over wine. Back home, life continued richly. Max aged, but a new puppy joined. Our circle expanded, nieces, nephews, chosen family. We advocated for LGBT rights, marching in pride, voices strong. In retirement dreams, we envisioned a cabin upstate, gardens, darkroom for Riley, office for my writing. Our next chapter, she'd say. Through it all, the core remained. Love's humanity, forgiving flaws, embracing growth. Our story wasn't perfect, but it was ours, karmic, resilient, profound. As the years unfolded, our bond became a testament to endurance. We faced societal shifts, marriage equality's triumphs, ongoing fights for trans rights. At rallies, we'd hold signs, Riley photographing the movement, me organizing tech for outreach. We're part of something bigger, she'd say. Personal trials came. My sister's passing left a void, but Riley's support healed. Lean on me, she urged. We traveled to honor her. Alaska cruises, her favorite. Grief bonded us deeper. Riley's art evolved, incorporating digital elements I taught her. Collaborative exhibits blended code and capture. Our fusion, critics raved. In our 60s, health became focal. Riley's arthritis slowed shoots. My vision required glasses. But we adapted audiobooks, assisted hikes. Aging gracefully, we joke. Grandnieces visited, hearing our tale. How did you know she was the one? One asked. When the world made sense with her in it, I replied. Riley added. And when mistakes turned magical. For our 30th anniversary, a vow renewal in Atlanta. Full family attendance, prejudices long faded. Proud of you, her brother said. Tears flowed. Later years brought reflection. In our upstate cabin surrounded by woods, we'd sit by the fire. No regrets, Riley murmured. Only gratitude. Her passing came peacefully in sleep, after a day of photography. Devastated, I mourned, but her spirit lingered. In photos, memories, the life we built. I continued her work, donating to causes, sharing our story. At LGBT events, I'd speak. Love isn't easy, but it's worth every storm. In quiet moments, I'd feel her presence. You changed more than my plans, I'd whisper to the wind. You changed my soul. The end wasn't tragic, it was human. We loved fully, flaws and all. Our legacy. Proof that a simple error can spark extraordinary love. Epilogue. Years later, a young couple at that same hotel shared our story, inspired. The cycle continued, mistakes to miracles.